Do you remember your June numbers, like what you ended up producing in the month of June?
I think I was around 25K.
Okay.
Are you talking
Nice.
about last year or this
No,
year?
this year.
Oh, this year. Oh, in June I did like 65.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a little bit of a difference.
Welcome to the PainterGrowth podcast, where we help you scale your painting company in record time. Join us as we explore sales, marketing, hiring, finances, leadership, and more, everything that you need to know to scale and grow your painting business. I hope you enjoy and subscribe.
What's up, everybody? Mike Gore-Hickman here, founder of PainterGrowth.com. And thanks for tuning in to the PainterGrowth podcast. I have a good friend of mine, a client for almost a year now, Jahden Nguyen, not Jahden Nguyen, Jahden Nguyen. And Jahden's been crushing it in his business lately. So I'm really excited to talk to him, sit him down and learn about what he did to grow his company, how he was able to get, more or less out of operations, and how he's doing that with a 4-month-old daughter. So, hey, Jahden, how you doing?
Hey, good. Thanks for having me, man. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah, awesome. So, I mean, how I want to start this is tell me, so you've been working with PainterGrowth for how long now?
It's been pretty much about a year now, probably 11 or 12 months now.
Awesome. So let's rewind the clock to last year. Before you started working with us, what was your business like?
It wasn't a business at all. It was more of a side job gig that I made full time, and considered it a business. And so there wasn't any systems, there wasn't any back office type work going on, there wasn't any accounting. So I was just doing $5,000 to $10,000 a month with hiring one or two guys under the table whenever I needed it.
So what did your day-to-day look like?
Wake up, go to work, paint until 6, come home, hang out with the kids, go to bed, repeat.
Yeah. Just keep doing that day after day. Wake up, paint, go to bed.
Yep. Every day I would say, can't wait to be done painting.
Yeah. And so in that time, did you always see yourself as a painter?
No. I always saw myself as eventually being an entrepreneur of some sort. I knew I wanted to be a business owner. I just didn't know. I've done a lot of dabbling in a lot of areas, whether it be online or other things. So I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I never considered business and the trades equal or coinciding together. So
yeah, you do some business, you do some trading and some crypto and stuff as well. I want to get into that kind of towards the end of this. Definitely interesting topic. So you see yourself as a business person, you're painting, you're kind of stuck in the grind. What made you decide to look for a change?
Well, I was definitely sick of working, a ton of hours every day and never seeing my family or anything like that. And like I said, I never knew or never thought to think of trades as a business opportunity until I saw your videos and saw the difference between, the hourly pay for somebody who is running the business as opposed to being in the business. And so that really changed my paradigm. And so I pretty much signed up as soon as I saw the video.
Yeah. So we were doing our PainterGrowth blueprint. You joined the program. You were definitely working, full time, producing like 5,000 to 10,000 a month, working way too many hours, trying to get a little bit of family time here and there. If you can recall back to last year, what was the first 3 months like when you joined?
It was a lot of building connections. That's what I kind of pulled the most from your course. I think the ads and everything that you learn in it is really good, but I haven't really even dabbled into that much. But learning to build connections properly really set me up for this summer.
And how's this summer going?
Really well. I got in with a couple of the top realtors in the city. I got in with some of the top builders in the city. So, and then I'm pretty much still only 99% word of mouth. And I'm booked until end of September. And I've been 2 months ahead ever since summer began. So it's been good.
Nice. And how many painters are you running?
6.
6. So it's kind of towards the end of July right now, but do you remember your June numbers, like what you ended up producing in the month of June?
I think I was around 25K.
Okay.
Are you talking about last year or this
No,
year?
this year.
Oh, this year. Oh, in June I did like 65.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a little bit of a difference. Oh, that congratulations.
Thank you.
But I mean, going from 5 to 10,000 revenue per month to $20,000 in profit a month in just a year, I mean, it's pretty incredible, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Like, sure, maybe I can take a little bit of credit for showing you the way, but at the end of the day, it's you're the one that actually did the work.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's pretty incredible. So how does it feel now being in a place where actually first let me see your nail beds. They your nails looking clean? No paint.
I've been painting.
Oh, a little bit of paint. Okay. I was keeping you honest there. How does it feel now having that business where you are, you're working on the business and you're able to like manage the team instead of having to push paint all day?
It's definitely a blessing. I love being able to like have the headspace to think a lot more now and learn or think about what I could do to better build the business. Because when I'm just working 8 to 10 hours every day, I usually am a zombie by the time I get home. And so yeah, it's been nice. I was able to hire an assistant full time for up until a week ago. I lost her, but it was that being able to have somebody who would go out and do estimates for me and do my accounting and my payroll and all that definitely was awesome to have.
That's a pretty key position. That's a lot of the main responsibilities that an owner has.
Yeah. Social media too, she would do.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so where did you find this person?
She went to high school with my girl. And so she was like an assistant manager at Dairy Queen, and then I stole it from that.
So she had a little bit of management, experience. Not that being an assistant manager at Dairy Queen is tons of management experience, right?
Yeah, now she's off to school. She's going to do schooling now, so.
Okay. So some of those responsibilities are back on you. So tell me, Jahden, what does your day-to-day look like now?
Well, as of the last 2 weeks, it's been a lot of painting because of that happening, and I lost a painter as well. But so I'm hiring for painting, so I'm setting aside time for interviews. I haven't had too many bites, but I've had 2 or 3. But I will wake up, do my trading thing. I will go, if I'm not going to work at the job site, I'll at least go there and make sure everybody's set up. Usually running 2 jobs at a time. So I do a ton of driving right now.
Okay.
And then when I get home, it's just help out with the baby and do some sending out estimates or whatever it may be.
Yeah. So you're looking for some painters. What do you feel is the biggest bottleneck in your business?
Employees.
Production.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And opposite of that, what do you feel you're the strongest at?
Getting leads.
Getting leads. Okay. Well, why don't we dig into that a little bit? So many people struggle getting leads, right? And we teach a lot of different ways to get leads, but what have you found to be effective ways to get leads? I know you said word of mouth, but like you can't turn on a volume switch for word of mouth leads, right? So how are you finding your leads, and what are the actions that you're doing to get more word of mouth?
Well, I think in a general sense, you should have multiple, so that you're not just, like you were saying, just relying on one word of mouth. That way you can have one coming from each per week, and that doesn't seem like a lot, but then it adds up. You have 7 leads. So my main one besides word of mouth would probably be Facebook groups. I'm in a lot of Facebook groups, and I found the trick is oftentimes, like, I'll be late to the post, and there'll be like 30 different contractors who have already commented their business and number for somebody who's looking for painting. And I just go right to the DMs and say, hey, I'm local, licensed and bonded. I can provide you with as many references or before and afters as you want. I would love to give you a free estimate. Give me a call. And almost every time they call me. So
yeah. Okay. I mean, that sounds like a great That sounds like a great strategy. How about when it comes to getting more jobs from current customers? How do you do anything special around like the customer service or asking for referrals from, existing customers that
Yeah,
work?
right now I'm running a program where if they referred me to 2 people, I'll rebate them a percentage of their paint job. And so that provides incentive for customers to get my name out. And then, oh, I should probably mention another one is I had my assistant at one point go through um, the internet and Instagram and stuff and look for all the local contractors and in every trade and just introduce us as a company, not so much trying to get anything out of them. So our name got out there, and then um, over time, just kind of like following up on the ones we really want a connection with and liking their stuff, commenting, making sure they really know that we're interested. And then a lot of the times I would have her bring donuts to their office or something like that. And that's landed me probably 3 or 4 major connections.
So to recap on how that works, so you started on social media, you reached out to some big builders and GCs,
Mm-hmm.
okay, or the ones that you wanted to work with. You got kind of like in front of them by liking their stuff, messaging them, commenting on their posts, and then you just went by their office and dropped off some goodies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
goes a long way.
Did you have a strategy after that to like sit down with them, to meet with them, to give them any literature or anything like that?
Well, we try to stay really up to date with our social media and kind of use that as our resume, honestly, for these builders and people. And I can tell it's working because they often say your social media is awesome. And I've hired, like, I go above and beyond for my social media. I pay $500 a month for somebody who makes like the generic SEO type posts.
Okay.
And I hire if it's a really cool job, I'll hire a videographer and have him make a cool video like a real estate agent
Yeah.
would.
I've seen a couple of your videos before. Just so if you're open to sharing it, what is your like Instagram handle?
Jahden Paints.
JAHDENPAINTS.
Yep.
I'm just, for anyone who's doing the video thing, Jahden, like just like that.
Yeah.
Okay, and Instagram's the main one.
Yeah.
Okay.
On Facebook and
Or Facebook.
stuff too, and TikTok. But
yeah, I've seen some of your videos, and they're great. I mean, you do the whole professional before and after videos. Like those look really wicked. Do they get much traction?
I don't run any ads on them. I kind of like just made them so that when people come to my page, they think, "Oh, this guy knows what he's doing. We can trust him."
Yeah.
So yeah, staying up to date with before and afters, and just continually posting so we don't look like somebody who just tried to start a business and then stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good strategy. Usually when people follow a social media strategy, they tend to get started, do it for a couple of months, and then they get busy, so they stop doing it.
It's really hard, honestly. Like my assistant stopped working, I haven't posted very much because I forget, and so it's definitely hard to remember when you're having to work in the business. But having a schedule is nice. Like if you have a lump sum of content, you can do the planner and have them already set to post for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Pre-scheduling posts. Having an assistant is super valuable. I mean, that's what I do. I'll sit down and I'll record like 20 videos, and then video editor will edit them, and then social media assistant will publish them and post them on our scheduled dates and stuff. So, I mean, if I had to post myself, every day or every few days, there's no way that I would do it.
Yeah.
It's got to be a system, and it's got to be reliant on someone other than yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
So those are a bunch of ways that you get leads: social media, your relationships, word of mouth, your referral program, which is pretty cool. How about when it comes to the actual sale? So you had your assistant doing sales for a little bit, and now you're back doing your own sales. Obviously, to be booked out, a couple of months with 6 painters doing $65,000 a month, you got to be pretty good at sales too.
Yeah. I wouldn't even say I have the best closing rate. I think I got in with higher end jobs. So a lot of my jobs are $8,000 to $10,000, if not more. and I probably closed maybe 30%, 30 to 40%.
Yeah.
But it was kind of interesting because for everyone listening, I'm only a year into this, and so I'm still learning and figuring out what works and what doesn't work. And when I was for a while having my assistant, I was teaching her how to bid so that she could collect a down payment on site. But I saw that like I had to stop that immediately, and then I was just having her take photos and ask questions and then bring it to me, and then I would contact them and send them their bid. And I would definitely say that dropped my closing percentage. And so now I'm going to be focusing more on doing estimates myself until I can hire somebody who actually knows how to do it.
Yeah. I mean, you can train someone on that skill, but it definitely takes a longer time. And it takes a lot more patience. Like you guys got to do a lot of buddy estimates where you're going together. You're not even getting numbers as one skill. And then the second skill completely is the sales aspect of it.
Yeah. And she only worked for me for, I think, 5.5 months, and she didn't even start doing that until probably month 3. And she caught on pretty quick. So yeah, it's definitely a teachable skill, but
yeah. And what's your average job size?
In dollar amount?
In dollar amount.
8 to 10.
8 to 10,000. Okay. So even on the low end, if it's, 8,000, and even if your sales rate on the low end is 30%, I always like to do this math. So 30% of 8,000 is 2,400. So on average, every estimate that you go on, you're booking 2,400, even if it's not exactly linear. But on average, if you have like 10 estimates, you're going to on average book 2,400 per estimate. And if your profit margin, say your profit margin after all expenses is 40%, that's just about $1,000. So every time that you do an estimate, you're making basically $1,000 per hour. Like, sure, there's some work you have to do after that in terms of like producing the job and scheduling it and talking to the homeowner and stuff. But in general, if you have a good machine set up, you're making $1,000 an estimate. It's a pretty good use of your time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one thing I wanted to circle background on is you said this is basically your first full year painting, because I think you joined our program after 3 months in your business.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, I don't want to learn the hard way. I just want to learn the quick way. And now, 15 months or so, or a year after starting your business, you're doing $65,000 in a month.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a lot of painters listening to this who have been in business for 10 years and they're still doing 15, 20,000 a month.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of the time it's a different way of thinking and skill set when you're jumping from 20 to 40, and then I can tell now I got to totally figure out something different, and I'm glad I have Jared as my coach, but to go from 50, 60 to 100, because I can't do the same type of work I'm doing now. I feel very capped as far as my time goes, making 50 to 60, but yeah.
So for the the contractor who's stuck between 10 and 20,000, like, what was the biggest shift that you made, either mindset or otherwise, that allowed you to scale up like that?
You have to have a growth mindset. Like, you got to understand that you're going to have to do things that you didn't do before, and whether that be getting in front of people or getting on the phone and introducing yourself because you're introducing yourself as a brand, and you have to sell yourself because there's 100 other painters in the city. So why you got it. I know a lot of painters and tradesmen in general aren't the best with social skills, and so you got to decide that you're going to put that away and get out of your comfort zone and just make some connections.
So what skills do you think are most important when making that leap from 10 to 50? Because that's a huge leap.
I think learning to look for good workers is a huge one, because production, as soon as it slows, it makes it really hard on you to scale. And then learning to I guess just build those connections with local business owners in town. I think people in town, especially smaller towns, maybe so in bigger cities, but people love supporting small business. Especially small business owners will support you if you support them back. And so that's why I got on social media and made all those connections, because I knew whether they're having a house for me or not, they're going to at least be able to say, yeah, I know a painter. So learning just like how to see your like income producing activities as a dollar sign rather than, and let it motivate you instead of just the only time getting money after a job motivating you, will help you out in the long run.
So how about the guys who are stuck in the book a job, do a job cycle and haven't been able to figure out how to schedule out jobs for, weeks and bring on other painters who have that, maybe that mindset of scarcity, where as soon as I book a job, I need to produce it right away so I don't lose it. What would you say to people who are, suffering or kind of a victim of their own mindset?
I think it's because they're looking at the job size that they have booked and they're thinking, well, if I could hire somebody out, but I'd be losing this margin and then I wouldn't be able to do this or that. But you have to invest in your business for it to grow. And so if you think about like what you just did with the equation and how much your time is worth as somebody who can build a painting business rather than just working in it, then you know that you're going to go, if you go out and door knock or whatever it may be that you're trying to get leads and do your thing, that's going to be worth a lot more than the profit you're going to make if you were to just do this job by yourself and try and do that cycle over and over.
Yeah, I think you hit on something really important there, and that's on the amount of money that you feel like you're losing out on if you have to hire a painter to paint a project for you. So whenever you do your financials, you should be doing your job costing as if, even if you're painting on the job, you should be calculating what you would have profited on that job if you were paying a painter for every hour that you were on site. So if you're on site for 25 hours and you're paying yourself, you pay an equivalent painter, say $25 an hour. I know everyone here is going to say no one can paint as good as me, so maybe equivalent is the wrong word. But say it's 25, whatever that is, 25 times 25, 425, 625, 625. So if you're doing that, you can either bank that 625, or you can now pay someone 625, and now you freed up 25 hours of your time to focus on higher leverage activities. If you spent those 25 hours and did 10 estimates and booked 3 jobs, now you have another $24,000 of work to produce. Like, you look at the leverage of your time and how much more money you provided the business by shifting your priorities and getting out of your own way.
Yeah, I used to be stressed when I'd have to leave the job site, and now I'm stressed if I'm on the job site.
Yeah, that's a really good way to look at it, actually, because as an owner, my opinion on it is that if you're on a job site, you should be training people. And that should be the only time that you're on a job site, not trying to like squeak out production. You should be training people and then get off the job site and then use that time off the job site productively. Because it's really easy to leave the job site and then like go grab lunch and then get a coffee and then go home for a little bit and then go back to the job site realizing you didn't do anything. But if you have a plan for what you want to do, like set up this marketing campaign, go do 2 estimates, go, do productive things working on the business while you have the time, then the business will grow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So we talked about, you getting off the tools, you getting to 65,000 a month. And now the next step that you see your business getting to is $100,000 per month, but you feel currently tapped with what you're doing and the responsibilities that you have. So what do you feel like you need to now do in order to go from 65 to 120 a month?
So I'm not having an issue with leads and it's a productivity issue, I am trying to be very picky about finding a high quality painter, and I have the incentives there. I just don't know why people haven't bid on it yet. But that's why I'm going to be picky and patient. And also we're getting towards the end of the summer, so it might be worth it and that might not be worth trying to put a bunch of effort into hiring somebody to let them go if I have to later, because I still have a few painters I want to keep through the winter already. and I don't know exactly how, this being my first full year in business, how this winter will look. But I've been thinking more of the sub route, you know, because I'll be getting work that I can't take on. So maybe just accumulating money that way, and dishing it off. So I've been talking to 2 or 3 different subs. But yeah, I think that will be until I can get a really solid crew going. That's, I don't have to like feel I have to be there at all. I think I'm just gonna go look for some subs.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so in your mind, it's about getting off the job site more and more fully delegating, you know, the production cycle of each job.
Yeah.
And then what will be your responsibilities in the business after that?
Estimates.
Okay.
And maybe like bringing supplies, or maybe just quality control.
Yep. Recruiting.
Yeah, hopefully recruiting.
Recruiting is a big one. You should always be recruiting, especially when you're doing, you know, that kind of volume.
Yeah.
Now, a couple of tips that I would probably, you know, think about when you're looking at this winter and you're looking to continue to grow into the winter is to start looking at like your average job size, and, you know, assuming it'll take a little bit of a dip once you stop doing exteriors, start doing the backwards math. How many leads do you need a week? How many estimates do you need a week? How many jobs do you need to book a week to hit production levels each month throughout the entire winter? Because where you're sitting right now is a really, you know, really good position to have a killer winter. So you need to now start thinking about, how can I put my foot on the gas in terms of lead flow and start not just booking out work for right now and expanding production for August and September, but how can I book people out, book a lot of interiors, and now start stacking the schedule for October and November? Because I mean, going into the middle or the end of August, there's no reason why you shouldn't have October booked out. Right. So not necessarily swelling the production now, but like, you know, consistently maintaining that so you don't have to lay anybody off.
Right. Yeah. That's definitely the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll do that math too. Yeah. I just know how it's been every year here. And, but I think that's just everywhere, you know, how winter is.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think you're in a spot where you could have a really good winter and not have too big of a decline as things get cold. There's a phrase that I've said a lot of times. I think I said it on the last episode I recorded, but your ability to grow your business is limited only by your ability to delegate more and more complex tasks. So as your business grows, your responsibilities as the leader become more challenging and more complex, right? You're delegating full production systems, not just painting and brushing and rolling. You're delegating full sales cycle, not just estimates. You know, you're delegating leadership with a production manager and maybe a marketing manager. And as soon as you hit that point in your business where you can no longer delegate because you don't have the skill set to offload those tasks to somebody else, that will be the cap of your business, because those will be the things that you will be doing and the team below you will not be able to grow any further. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, that's cool.
So as you level up now to 100,000 plus per month, you want to think of structure and what should your ideal day look like. And the sub route is definitely a good route, but even with subs, it would probably be worth considering a production manager at one point. So do you have any of your painters on site right now that you wanted to keep over the winter who might be able to grow into the production manager role?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So we talk about how we both want that for him eventually. But
cool.
we know that we need to find another one of him.
Yeah. I mean, and you might not, it might be 2 people, right?
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. It's hard to lose your top foreman and promote them to job site manager. But that's what I did, is I brought my top foreman to job site, or to production manager. And he did wonderfully well. He took so much off of my plate, and we were able to maintain mostly in-house employees the whole time, because he managed, 5 or 6 crews, handled moving the equipment around, handled going to the paint store. He did all that driving around so that I didn't have to. And then I just did estimates. I barely even visited job sites. And I didn't even pick up checks or anything like that. Like, he did all of that. and we just met once a week for a noodle bowl, and he just handed me a binder full of checks, and I handed him a binder full of new jobs.
Nice. Yeah, he's definitely my guy for that right now. Like today's his birthday, and he's working, so I can do this.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, you should have given him the day off. I'm just kidding. Friday too.
I gave him $100, brought him a Red Bull and water for the day, and
nice.
He was happy.
Nice. So definitely an opportunity to level yourself up to get to the 100K per month level. How about in terms of personal development? Like, who do you feel you need to be to run $1 million painting business?
Yeah, I believe you need to have a really sound mind when it comes to making that leap, because like for one, when I was going from 20 to 40, I realized like I cannot be this tired person anymore. And so I did that 75 hard challenge and tried to get my energy levels up, so that I could do the things that that are income producing activities outside of working the 8 hours I still had to do. So I think that being able to have time to like set aside to, whether it be meditating or just being alone to think about your business, is super important, that I feel like I still am reaching for right now. I don't get it a lot, especially with the baby and everything, but I see how important it is for somebody to make that leap, is to be able to like journal your thoughts and be able to take your thoughts onto paper and make a plan.
Yeah.
Because I have as an entrepreneur, I have all these great ideas, especially in the shower, and or when I'm painting up on a lift, and then they go away because they didn't write them down.
Yeah. You forget about them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Documenting all of those great ideas and those important processes. I think being, and this is kind of a buzzword, but I think it's an important one, is like being process oriented. And understanding like what a process is and how to use it. And like, if there's something repeatable in a business, it should be documented so that somebody else can do it and not you. And if it does rely on you, and it's probably not going to get done, or if it does get done, it's going to take a lot of your time. So we got to get as much as possible off of the owner's plate so that you can focus on those higher leverage activities.
I read this book called E-Myth. I don't know if you've heard of it,
Yeah.
but yeah, it really put me into perspective, even more so after I took your course, because being able to break the business owner into 3 different types of people, realizing who I am more of and where I need to focus either more money or time into building the skill set of the other, really changed my paradigm, because you have the entrepreneur, the manager, and the technician. And the technician is the painter. The manager is somebody who can do all the back end stuff. And the entrepreneur is the dreamer, the builder. And if you cut off any of those, then you're not going to have a breathable business.
Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right. What was the biggest lesson that you took from that? Anything in terms of changes in your behavior as a result of reading the E-Myth?
It kind of gave me permission, I guess, to be that entrepreneur and know where I need to delegate certain things, because a lot of the times I would feel like I get ideas or I want to implement things on social media or whatever, maybe start doing videos, and then I feel like, nah, you're stay in your lane. You need to stay in your lane type mindset. And so I realized, like, if I want to be a top painting company in my city, I need to figure out ways to stand out, and that's okay. Like, figure out different ways to do that then.
Yeah, and you can't really do that when you're on a ladder.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So you also like to dabble a little bit in some crypto and some foreign exchange stuff. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, it all started 7 or 8 years ago. A buddy of mine, he actually was an entrepreneur at the time too. He had a sock business, and he was in it for a couple years before me, and I was just blindly taking my side job money and putting it into crypto wherever he'd tell me to put it. Made a decent amount doing that, and decided that I really like the idea of investing and trading. And then I started taking courses and stuff on day trading. And so I'm mostly now involved with trading countries' currencies, not so much crypto. I like dollar cost average into crypto because I believe in it. I think you're in Canada, but so it's probably similar. But in the U.S., I think the dollar bill is going to be gone soon and digitalized, and so I just think it's a skill set. I thought from when I started, it was a skill set that would be economy proof that I wanted to make sure I learned how to do. And so I've just been, grinding on that and waiting for the big jump, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Okay. How does someone get into that?
You can find anything you need on Twitter and YouTube for cryptocurrency.
There's so many like scammers out there though. Like, how do you protect yourself from scams?
So yeah, there's definitely, it's like I had $40,000 hacked, gone in an instant. And so it's definitely like the wild, wild west. It's definitely like there's different types of cryptocurrency, obviously, and it's similar to the stock market where you have your blue chip stocks that are safe to invest in, and then there's stocks that are like penny stocks that like Jordan Belfort used to sell. And so obviously those ones can, if they're not scams, can produce a ton of money if they get a lot of volume put into them, but oftentimes it will be scams. So you can be safe buying, like using the top exchanges like Coinbase or so I don't remember some of the other ones, and buy Bitcoin, Ethereum, the top blue chip ones, and they'll be safe for dollar cost averaging in. But then as you're learning and you're getting into the space itself, just kind of like how painters are all connected, like through a Facebook forum, and they know which paints are the best and which products to use. That it's similar that way, where you can kind of dive into these communities and tell who's legit, who's not, who's showing profits, who's just showing screenshots, and then you can start to find people, because there's tons of people online that you can follow that will give you good advice. It's just kind of learning how to weed it out.
Just don't follow Logan Paul.
Yeah.
Sweet. No, that's interesting. I never really got into crypto. I think I have a little bit of Bitcoin, but it's not really I feel like I didn't get into it at the right time, so I just decided to stick with what I know,
Yeah. Well, yeah. Proved to be good for you.
Yeah. So I guess at the end of the day, for anyone who's, stuck in their business and trying to scale up, trying to get out of that rat race, trying to get off the tools, like what would you say to them? What should they do today?
I think you should figure out your weak spots in your business, whether it be getting the leads or whether it be production. Or maybe it's just you're super unorganized and you need to do your receipts and organize your receipts and everything. That was me, honestly. But and then just hammer it. Join your course and watch the videos on those specific areas, and it's pretty, black and white. Just do it, and you should be producing leads in no time.
Yeah. So figure out what your weak point is. Is it getting leads? Is it closing jobs? Is it production? Is it hiring? Focus on improving that skill. Make that not a bottleneck, and then rinse and repeat.
Yeah. And sometimes you might have to do the annoying work to be able to get to the point where you have a system that produces leads. Kind of like I was saying, we spent all winter following up on social media with contractors, and then once summer came around, it was just the phone never stopped ringing.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's great advice. Sweet. Well, that's all I got for you today, man. I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your story, and it's been really cool to watch you scale your business so quickly. And I mean, I have no doubt that if not this summer, then next summer you're gonna be having 6-figure months.
Cool, man. Well, I really appreciate you. I could not have done this without you.
Right on, man. Well, I'm sure I'll have you on here again, and thanks again. Appreciate it.
Yeah, have a good one.
Thanks for listening to the Painter Growth Podcast. If you want to grow your painting business, go to www.paintergrowth.com or click on the top link in the description. Talk soon.